Alrighty, so welcome back to another episode. Sorry for the barking creature. We don't like to talk about it. It's quite disturbing. Yep. Anyways, special. As you can see, we have moved locations, but
Merry Christmas.
It's fun. Yeah, Merry Christmas. Hey, you know, tis the season.
We're
in the holidays. Anyways,
I love Christmas.
So today's questions are for all you drummers out there, or are interested in drums, or just want to hear about it, or maybe you don't care at all and you don't want to know anything about drums.
Maybe,
but
you
too
want
bad.
to start a drum cover channel.
Yeah, exactly. If you want help with that, I can hook you up. Anyways, so we're gonna get started.
Special guest star.
Maybe we should introduce ourselves.
Oh yeah.
We didn't even do that. I'm Gabe Mitchell. I am a freshman in college. I go to James River.
I'm John Shoemate. I am not a freshman in college. I am a junior, and I go to Lebanon High School.
Yeah.
Also I go by JD.
We're related, so fun fact of the day. But anyways, gonna jump right into it.
But not blood.
No.
Wait.
I mean, we wish. I guess we were.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right. So today the first question is, what is it like playing in church?
Well, you see, you want me to kick this one off?
Oh, this should be interesting. Yeah. Go ahead, kick it off.
So, I've played drums. I played drums in church for about 5 years, maybe.
Yeah.
4 or 5 years. Closing in on 6 now, actually.
Oh boy.
But it started whenever I moved to Hartville.
Mm-hmm.
Because the second we had moved there and started going to that church, actually, they all came up and said that they had lost their drummer, that their drummer moved out and wasn't playing there anymore, and they needed one. And around that time was exactly when I started playing drums. So obviously God's putting the pieces in line for me. So I was supposed to play there. I started playing there, and there's this lead guitarist named Josh.
Mm-hmm.
He was a metalhead, to say the least. Yeah, he liked hardcore drumming, like a lot of kick, a lot of really loud cymbals. I had just started playing drums, and I was too nervous to even do a fill, let alone do what he wanted.
Yeah.
So what happened was, while I was playing there, it was like the first time I had ever started playing drums anywhere. And so while I was playing there, he kind of like pounded into my head the fact that I need to be loud all the time, that I need to be just loud and loud. So I started trying to play loud, and when he started enjoying how I was playing, I just started playing like that.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time I had gone into school playing drums, I was just loud all the time, and they tried to teach me when I need to be quiet, how I need to gradually increase in volume
dynamics,
sometimes. They tried to teach me dynamics, and I wasn't really good at it because I was trained to play loud all the time. So eventually, they left that church, and I had to learn how to play drums on my own.
Yeah.
And so the most that I learned about drumming was drumming at school in marching band and in pep band and all this.
Yeah.
But then I started playing regularly drums there for the youth and regular worship team. And then whenever we moved down here, I joined the youth and regular worship team, and I just continued playing drums this whole time. But there's my story.
So, what it's like playing in church for me is, you gave a lot of background, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But what it's like playing drums in church for me is, I grew up around a lot of musicians. My dad came from a drum background. My grandparents led worship at their church, and that's kind of where I got plugged in. I was about 7 years old, and I started playing in church. Had no idea what I was doing, but I loved it. I loved making noise, and it was fun. Like something just connected and stuck with me. But as the years progressed, any time I could get behind a drum set, I would. Like, I would just take any opportunity I could to just sit behind a kit and play. But over the years, I just got more and more into it. I was like, Dad, I want a drum set. Dad, I want a drum set. So finally I got one, and then I went to a youth group, and then I got plugged in. They asked me to play, so I started playing, and I never really knew what, like the sole purpose. Obviously I knew what it was about, but at the same time, like, I didn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I just thought I was up there
You didn't have the feel yet.
Yeah, I was just up there to be like, oh, look at me, I'm playing drums for
it was a
God.
concert.
Yeah, oh yeah. So, that whole aspect changed for me when I lost my grandparents a couple years ago, and when I went to James River, that whole aspect changed to me. It's not a concert, it's not a performance, it's not, something that we put on. It's a way of connecting with God, and it's a way of leading people to connect with God. So I just thought that, that's what really stuck out to me the most when people ask, like, what's it like playing drums in church? Like, what's different from a concert and playing in a church? Well, a concert,
A concert you're playing from your head and from.
Well, yeah, but if you're playing at a Christian concert, you're obviously surrounded by thousands and thousands of Christians. But it's like the same thing at church. So really, there's not a huge difference. Just that maybe a different atmosphere. And more fun.
I was gonna say, if you're playing at church, you're playing more from the heart than from the head.
Yeah. I always say, never mind, I forgot it. I don't say it. It's a quote that I use. It's play from the heart. Oh my gosh, I can't remember it. But yeah, it's a good quote. But I can't remember it. So, all right, question 2. How long have you been playing drums?
I kind of touched on that when I was telling my whole backstory.
Yeah,
I didn't really answer what it's like playing in church, because it's been different experiences.
Oh yeah.
Throughout all the different worship teams that I've been through. Even at Hartville, I had the youth team changed like 3 or 4 times.
Oh yeah.
And we've both been through worship teams where the people on the team all swap out and change.
Yep.
And some people leave, some people join, and it's just, it changes the dynamic a lot.
Oh yeah, it does. It does.
Like with a worship atmosphere, you're as good as the rest of your team.
Yep.
Like you can't be the center of attention, because you're trying to make the center of attention God. So if you're like an incredible drummer like this guy, and you push out all of your skill, every fill possible, like just throwing everything in there that you know how to do, and then someone's over there just plucking a few chords on the bass, it's gonna distract people.
It's very distracting.
It's gonna make people focus more on the drums than focus on God.
Yeah, in a worship atmosphere, your goal on stage is to be as non-distracting as possible. You want to lead people into God's presence. You don't want to stray them away, because if you're doing a bunch of nonsense that is not necessary, that can take away from people's time with God and can take away from that connection. But I think when it comes to the question, how long have I been playing drums? It started when I was like 2 or 4 years old, when I used to sit on my dad's lap and just play. But like I said, I never really got into it until like 8th grade is when I started hitting it hard. Like, okay, maybe this is where God's calling me. Like, I was a big sports head, like football, baseball. I was hooked. Played it in high school, played baseball till my junior year, and I was just getting swamped. And I just felt like that was God's way of saying, like, I need you to focus on what I'm calling you to, and I think you know exactly what that is. So that's when I dropped to baseball, and I dropped football, because I felt like God was calling me to focus on drumming, because I now go to school for it, which is an awesome experience, and we'll get a little more into that later.
I've never had to have that experience of just like doing things that I'm not supposed to. Like doing things that God's not calling me to do. Because all I've done all my life is music.
Oh yeah.
I can never get into sports. As you can see, I'm not a very sportsy person. But I play soccer now, but obviously that doesn't help my case. But music has always been my thing, and it's my dad started teaching me guitar when I was really little, or trying to teach me. I really didn't want to get into it. But, then eventually, it was Joe, my uncle.
Yeah.
I don't know how you're related.
Probably the same.
Yeah. Uncle Joe.
Uncle Joe.
He played at my childhood church, and I just got up there one day and started playing around, and he showed me a few things, and I think that's what kind of kindled my love for drums.
Yeah.
And then I started going to Jake's basement, where he has his little drum set, and playing around there. And then I came here to play with you. You taught me a lot, and then it just kind of grew from there. Got my own drum set at my house. It's kind of a garbage kit. It's actually downstairs, used for scrap.
Nah, we made it sound good. He's just lying.
Yeah, sure.
Whatever, it's fine.
But that's what kind of kindled my passion for drums, my passion for playing drums on stage. But as that grew, my love for just music in general grew. So music is the sole center of my life. That's my form of worship. You have people can have their own different ways of worship. You can have preaching, you can have music, you can have anything.
Well, I mean, everything we do is a form of worship. The way we talk, the way we,
worship is a lifestyle.
Yeah, worship is a lifestyle. Worship is the way that you live out your life, and the way that you point people to God. Yeah, exactly. Worship is just it's not just on a platform. Worship is on your everyday life. It's how people look at you. It's how people see you. It's how they, see you worship, and sometimes they can reflect on how they worship.
Yeah, it's how you live your life. It's how you fight your battles.
Yep.
Someone once told me that your worship should be your worship.
Oh yeah.
And it's how you get through every day of your life. It's how you fight whatever's going on. Yep. Just worship is the best way to do it.
And everybody has their own form, like you said. Like for us, it's music, but for other people, it could be whatever, like preaching or just singing, even though they may not have that kind of
reading your Bible is a form of worship.
Oh yeah. The way you greet somebody could be a form of worship. Like it's just all about your attitude towards somebody. Like the Bible says, treat one another the way you would like to be treated. Yeah. So if I come up to him and I'm like, what up, you snobby little punk, instead of being like, oh, how's it going? How's your, what's your name? Nice to meet you. I hope you have a great day, even though you may not know him. But that's just a form of worship, and there's so many different aspects to worship, and how we live it out. So I think that's really cool.
But like I was saying, worship is kind of the center of my life. That all the music aspect of learning as many instruments as I can. But something I worry about at James River, which is kind of the next topic. At James River, you told me that you kind of have to pick an instrument. Like you have a multi-instrumental friend who goes there, and he had to pick one, right? No,
not really. So, if you guys are interested in James River, first of all, go check out their YouTube channel. It's awesome. Second of all, the school is amazing. It's like college on steroids. Like it's just, it doesn't even feel like college, honestly. It's just,
but
it's
not
awesome.
The hard stuff.
Yeah. Anyways, so on the whole instrument thing, it's not a pick and choose. They take what you're stronger at, or what's your strongest, and they'll put you there. Yeah. Like my friend Brennan, he's a very talented piano player, and he's very solid. So they kind of stuck him there at first or whatever, and then, they stuck him at bass at first because he was a good bass player and they needed bass players, and then he got thrown into keys and MDing, and then occasionally he plays drums when they need somebody for a youth venue. But other than that, he plays keys. The only other thing he auditioned for was vocals, and actually that was it, vocals. And he's a very good, he's good at harmonizing, but he's not like a lead singer, so he could be a BGV if he wanted. But you don't have to pick and choose at James River. Like whatever you're good at, they're gonna use you for that. So
here's a cool story talking about James River. Howdy. There was actually back in Hartville. There were two people that joined the youth team. And it was whenever everyone was swapping around. They actually came from James River. Now this was way back when, so I didn't think anything of it. But they actually came from James River, and they kind of taught us a lot about how to form a worship team and all this. And then I just kind of shrugged it off, went on with life. And then I came back, when we moved back here, that was around the time that you started going to James River. And I, of course, didn't think anything of it. I was like, oh, Gabe's going to college. Okay, well, that's cool. And then by the time I figured it out, it was in personal finance. Because like the first week of personal finance, you are supposed to figure out what you're going to do with your life, what college you're going to go to. And a while back, after church camp one year, I felt like I was supposed to go to Evangel. So I was looking into Evangel, and I found out James River is run through Evangel.
Yeah. And
so that's the moment that it clicked. Like I was putting all the pieces together, like 4 years of plans that God has set in action. Just all of a sudden they just snapped together, you know?
We're back after a long commercial break.
Wait, what were we talking about?
That's a good question. Next question. We're going to cut some of these out since the podcast is running or the talk cast, I guess you can call it.
It's a podcast.
Yeah,
what do you mean it's running long? 16 minutes is not long.
Okay, yeah, but we're going to get there. Anyways, never mind. Okay, yeah, we've already kind of touched on this. Where do you go to school?
Okay, I go to school at Lebanon High School.
Right on.
It's something else, especially now during 2020.
Yeah.
It's
I also went to Lebanon High School, but now I am a James River student. Oh gosh. I love it. I love everything about it. I love how connected and involved you are within the church and within the college. Everybody knows everybody, which is awesome. Nobody knows you for your past or things you may have done. Everybody knows you for all your good things. If that makes sense. And I just love being on the worship team and in the worship practicum. It's awesome. It's like our own little family. I just loved everything about it. So, that's that question. So, we've already touched on that one. What are your plans after school?
Well, that is a question that I've asked myself quite a bit, actually, because, like I said before, God's only given me bits and pieces of His plan for me, and I just know, all I know right now is that I have to get to James River somehow, and then I'm pretty sure once I get there, God will reveal the rest of His plan for me.
Yeah.
But at this point, I don't know. I've always wanted to be what they call in the biz an internetainer. It's a red and link term, trademark. But it's an internet entertainer, stuff like podcasts. I've always wanted to do this kind of stuff. And I feel like music can really be involved in that. I can make a music channel and kind of entertain people through my music. So and there's a media segment at James River, right? They teach you how to they teach you how to run media and stuff like that. So maybe that's where I'm supposed to go, but other than that, I have no idea what my plans are after school. Because a quote that I have from one of my old pastors is the best way to make God laugh is to tell Him your plans for your life.
Yeah.
And I don't know what my plans are. The best thing I have is that I need to go to James River and that I want to start a podcast. I want to be an internetainer. Yeah. But other than that, I'm just relying entirely on God to
That's good.
Send me on my direction, send me where I need to go.
That's honestly a lot how I feel. Going into my sophomore year, I thought I knew where I wanted to go. I wanted to go to UNL, University Next Level. It's kind of like James River, but it's further away from home. Gosh, sorry. Further away from home, and it's not as long as a program, but it had everything I wanted. So when my parents told me they wanted me to pick something closer to home, I was kind of like, there's nothing here. There's nothing.
Yeah.
So, but after a while, I found something, or my grandma had mentioned something, And so I looked into it and I found out, I was like, oh wow, this school seems legit. It looks like exactly what I want to do. So I went on a visit and stuff like that, and now I'm there. Honestly, I don't know what my plans. I mean, I kind of know what my plans are after James River. I want to go to Evangel probably and graduate, get my degrees there, whatever. But one of my ultimate dream goals is to be playing drums in a big worship setting, or I want to be a traveling worship drummer. I love to travel. I love traveling and I love playing the drums. So putting both of those together and getting paid for it honestly would not feel like a job. It would just feel like, vacation, because it's awesome. I love it. I could do it, whatever.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my goal, or what I want to do after school, or my plans. Or another thing is to build like a ministry music store from the ground up, and start, something for people who are as fortunate. Is another goal that I had. So
yeah, that's good.
All right. So the next question is, do you plan to keep playing drums after school?
Probably. I mean, like I said, I don't know. I don't know what my plans are for after college.
Mm-hmm.
I just know that drums is definitely a thing that I enjoy. Music in general is something I enjoy. So obviously that's going to be a big part of my life for the rest of my life. But, I'm sure that I'll play drums in my church or something like that for a while at least. And I don't know. It all depends on where God takes me, really.
Yeah.
Because at this point, God's given me bits and pieces, and I'm gonna go to James River and figure out what I'm supposed to do there, and then afterwards maybe He'll call me somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm supposed to go there and play drums, or go there and play music.
Yeah, that's good. For me, I definitely plan on playing drums after school. That's kind of what I went for. In a sense, good grief. Sorry. Yeah, I know. That's kind of what I went to school for, so that's what I plan to pursue and to keep doing. So I hope that I definitely get to keep playing drums afterwards. But yeah, I don't really have much on that one. So we'll move on to the last question. What's it like playing drums at school?
See, this one's a good one for me, because like I said, when I first started actually getting into drums was at school. It was 7th grade. Funny story, actually. I knew the word percussion. Just gonna throw that out there. I had a music teacher whenever I lived here the first time.
Yeah.
I had a music teacher who taught me all the music sections, like percussion, winds, and stuff like that.
Right.
So once I moved to Hartville, I entered band because I had already liked music for sure. And I walked in, and actually a running joke now in there is whenever the teacher, I'm about to name drop her, are you ready? Miss Blaylock. When Miss Blaylock asked me what I played, I looked her dead in the eyes and I went, drums.
And he goes, what do you play?
I went, drums. And that's like a running joke, because she looked back at me, like I looked her dead in the eyes and went, drums, and then she goes, so percussion? And I was like, and like the rest of the percussion section was over there watching me get introduced, and they're like, boom. But that was like a running joke from that point on, was that when Blaylock asked me what I play, I go, drums. Yeah. But I knew the word percussion.
Oh yeah.
I could have very well said percussion and sounded like I knew what I was talking about at least.
Yeah.
But playing drums at school was a huge part of my life. Like, I don't think I would have been where I am today if I didn't join band in Hartville.
Right.
Because, Hartville's a small town. It's hard not to know everybody in your grade.
Yeah.
At least. Yeah. So, the way it worked was, band was kind of my outlet, like how I plugged into the school, how I, got engaged with other people, and it was kind of how I met a lot of my friends, and how I grew closer to them, because then we joined marching band, and marching band requires a lot of endurance, and if you can endure it with the rest of your band, then that brings you closer than like anything else, really.
Yeah.
But band is really what turned me on to music so much, was that, I mean, it was that big of a part of my life. It was the only thing I was doing back then. I wasn't in any sports or anything. I was just in band. But, I mean, it's just a huge part of my life. So much fun. I enjoyed it every single second. And I love Hartville like family.
Yeah.
So great.
So what it's like playing drums at school for me is I didn't play band in high school. I didn't because I'd heard not so great things about our high school. Drum line teacher, I guess? I don't know. Anyways, but so I actually started playing at James River. I mean, I played at churches and stuff. Hi, Sam. I played at churches and stuff here in town, but I really got into it at James River, or I got plugged in a lot at James River. So what it's like for me is it's a lot of fun. Sorry. It's getting past my bedtime. To me is just, it's full of opportunity, and the fact that when they ask you to play, at a certain venue or a certain event or a certain thing going on or a service, it's very like exciting, because no venue there is bad. Like, they're all just so fun. They're all just so encouraging, because there you are surrounded by an environment of people that love God just as much or more than you, and they show it. So that's just a really interesting aspect of it. And then the only thing I don't like about it is having to get up super early.
Yeah.
Like, there was mornings I'd have to get up at like 4:30 in the morning or 4 o'clock, and then go to like a men's Bible study and have practice, where I had to be up at like 5:30 or whatever, and be at the church by 6:45 for practice in the morning for chapels. So
honestly,
I hated that. A lot of long nights.
Well, so you have to do that like every day though.
Not every day. It's like Tuesdays, Thursdays, some on Tuesdays, Thursdays, some on like Wednesdays, some long nights on Wednesdays.
Once I moved away from that idea, because like during marching band, you have to get up like dead early in order to get on the bus to get to where you're going to march. But like during it, of course, you're like, oh, this sucks. But once marching season's over, you realize, oh man, I missed that.
Okay, fun fact about me, I am a sleeper. I love to sleep, so...
Sleeping on a bus is fun whenever the bus is filled with a bunch of crackheads.
Okay, I like sleeping on the bus at night. Like, it's just something about it.
Yeah.
If everybody else is quiet and like sleepy.
Yeah. Everyone else is definitely tired when you have to get up at 5:30 to drive to wherever you're gonna march.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just the aspect of getting up early mornings and then driving to school and then getting on that bus with all of your tired band members and of course, band is filled with a bunch of crackheads, like I said. But once you get tired crackheads, it's a whole new level.
It's like, yeah. Well,
they don't actually do crack.
Yeah, no.
Crack's bad. Stay in school.
Well, I think this is going to... Hey, settle down.
Calm down.
I want to say hi to the viewers.
Say hi, Sam.
Sam says hi, if you can see him. Anyways, I think this is going to do it for this episode. This is episode 2, and this is about worship drumming, or
Drums.
Drums, yeah. Worship
Being a drummer.
We'll label it what it's like to be a worship drummer or a drummer in general.
What comes with being a drummer?
That's good, yeah. Anyways, we hope you guys enjoyed. We know this one may have been boring to most or some. We will make sure that the topics get better. Don't you worry. But yeah, I think this is kind of going to wrap it up. Do you have anything you want to say?
Negative ghostwriting.
No, I don't have anything I want to say. So we will actually thank you guys for watching. Make sure if you like this video, leave a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the notification bell and also subscribe and leave a comment of some topics you guys want to hear us talk about. In the meantime, peace.